Recently, we had a japa workshop, and we focused on a concept I've never shared with you. It's called JC chanting versus AC chanting. So what is JC? Jesus Christ? No. What is AC? Alternating current? No. JC is just chanting, and AC is actually chanting. You know what it's like when you're just chanting? Well, you're just chanting. You just have your hand in your bag and a little mindless, a little like it's a chore, just kind of doing it to get it done, not really present, not really praying, just chanting. I have my rounds to chant. So there's no real intention. There's no deep mood of prayer or connection with the meaning. There's no connection with our suffering in the material existence and a prayer to turn our face to Krishna, to turn back. We've turned our face away to turn back. We're just chanting. And we know what that means. We're just hand in the bag and we're just chanting. It's kind of normal. And when people begin chanting, if they're not instructed, I would say in detail, what it means to properly chant, then they just chant because they don't know. They just think, well, you just chant, any old way and get your rounds done. AC chanting is actually chanting, where you're focused, you're absorbed, there's nothing else going on in your life at that moment, both externally and internally. You're praying to Krishna to help you remove the gap between where you are and where Krishna is, or remove the gap between where you want to be and where you are. Remove the gap or remove the problems that are getting in the way of your relationship. Very deep absorption. That's actual chanting. So I wanted to share something from the Hari Bhakti Vilasa of Sanatana Goswami. He said, when you're holding your beads, you should only be chanting. You shouldn't be talking. Now that's interesting. Why is that interesting? Because we should be in this mood that when we touch our beads, we think, now I'm going into meditation. This is my meditation time. So whenever my hand touches my beads, it's like we should think, okay, everything has to stop now because now I'm chanting. This is all I'm doing. As I say, when I chant, one of the affirmations, when I chant, I chant. So I think that's really important if we can anchor in this mood that as soon as I touch my beads, it's kind of like the external world just stops and we remind ourselves, now I'm chanting, nothing else. It's just my conversation with Krishna, my connection with Krishna, my reestablishment of my relationship, my prayer to Krishna, that's all. And if we have to do something else or we have to talk, take your hand out of your beads, put them down. Okay, now I'm not chanting. It's not my meditation time or circle. I put my beads down. And when I bring my beads back, put my hand in my bag, there should be some shift. And I'll give you an example. Imagine you're a surgeon and you're going for surgery. Obviously, before the surgery, you're preparing, you're making sure everything is correct. You know what you have to do. So from that point when you begin preparing, and then when you do the surgery, to the point when the surgery is finished, you are completely focused on that job. That's all. Whatever else is going on in your life, you have to turn that off. Otherwise, you cannot do your job properly. So that's how we should be with japa. When our hands are on our beads, everything should stop, just like that surgeon walking into the operating room. Obviously, everything in his life is shut down. He's focused on the job at hand. So, if we're just chanting, then when we put our hands on our bead bag, nothing really changes. We just chant. there's no real mood, there's no real connection, there's no real idea that now I should just be chanting and not doing anything else. And if we're actually chanting, then we will connect with the meaning, we will be connecting consciously with the holy name, understanding that this is prayer, this is deep, this is conversation. So that's what japa is. So in my japa workshops, actually, we just focus on this idea of what japa actually is as opposed to what it actually is not. And if the students get this, that this is what japa is and this is what japa isn't, it makes a huge difference. So that's why I'm sharing this with you. Hopefully you can remember this. Hopefully you can imbibe this in your life, that just chanting and actually chanting are two very different things.